with another episode, the final episode. Well, not final episode, but the final week of the regular season. Alongside my very good friend Holly's Adventures, we are back with Week 18 picks. Um, Contrary to what I thought it was actually a game tonight, but there is no Thursday night game, and there's two on Saturday, and then the rest of them are on Sunday. So I'm like, but I'm
Which
like,
is good.
either way. Last week, wound up going 11-5, bringing my total to 148-90 on the year. Holly went 10-6, bringing her total to 129-93 on the year. So as we head into the final week of the season, guys, playoffs are starting to take a little bit more shape. The number one seeds have been set; they are confirmed. Um, Looking at the playoff seedings as we head into the final week, we have the Baltimore Ravens as the number one seed. They have locked that down. There is no way they can lose that. They've clinched the AFC number one seed. Therefore, the road to the Super Bowl will go through Baltimore in the AFC. Miami is at number 2, Kansas City at 3, Jacksonville at 4, Cleveland at 5, Buffalo at 6, and Indianapolis at 7. Not really much of anything has changed in that regard. Miami and Buffalo will meet on Sunday with the winner winning the AFC East. So that those two could easily flop or switch positions, but that's how it stands as of now. Over at the NFC, we have the 49ers at number 1. They've locked that down. The road to the NFC playoffs goes through San Francisco. Dallas is at number 2. Detroit at number 3. Tampa Bay at number 4. Philadelphia at number 5. The LA Rams are at number 6. And the Green Bay Packers are now in the number 7 spot. A lot can happen, especially in the NFC. Um, Green Bay is in a position where, simply put, if they win, they're in. The Packers can also get the 6th seed with a win coupled with a Rams loss. The Dallas Cowboys, with a win over the Commanders, will clinch the NFC East and the number 2 seed. Um,
Hey,
the
it might
Eagles, the, the Eagles can get the number 2 seed with a win coupled with a Dallas loss. And Detroit is actually not out of the running for the number 2 seed. The Lions can get the number 2 seed with a win coupled with a Dallas and Philadelphia loss. But that's a lot to digest. But yeah, that is the playoff picture as it stands right now. Playoffs will be set after Sunday night. So okay. So we're gonna dive right into things. Um, Kicking off on Saturday, we have the 9-7 Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 13-3 Baltimore Ravens. I just touched on the fact the Ravens have the number 1 seed. Lamar Jackson is not going to be playing in this game. That being said, the Ravens have nothing to play for in this game whatsoever. And that the sole purpose why I'm taking Pittsburgh in this game, because as I said, the Ravens have nothing to play for. If they lose the game, they stay as the number 1 seed. If they win the game, obviously they stay as the number 1 seed. So really, Baltimore has nothing to prove. Steelers are in that on that bubble. So I mean, a win for the Steelers could be beneficial, but like I said, the Ravens have nothing to play for. So with Pittsburgh having so much at stake instead of Baltimore, I'm going to take Pittsburgh because I look for Baltimore to rest some starters for the playoffs. So
I can actually see Baltimore actually resting their starters this
yeah,
game coming up. Like you said, they have nothing to play for. So I mean, really,
yeah,
they could easily put in second, third stringers and still possibly come out with a win. So I mean, I'm going to take Pittsburgh on a whim. Um, Granted, it's not going to make a difference regardless if Baltimore wins or loses. They still clinch the number 1 seed.
right.
So Pittsburgh.
Yo, mindless, how's it going? Not too bad. I literally just got home from work, making this video before the missus gets home, and then yeah, and then we got a little bit of running to do tonight, and then tomorrow's her birthday, so we're both off for that. But next up, we have the the cough is what's kicking my butt. But we have the 9-7 Houston Texans taking on the 9-7 Indianapolis Colts. This could easily, the winner is going to be in the playoffs. The loser will be out of the playoffs. And as much as I want to see Houston win this game because I prefer the Texans over the Colts, Texans have been a little bit too inconsistent over the last few weeks to really trust them full throttle. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Colts in a very close game, but I'm going to take the Colts at home.
I want to take Texas or away, not at home. Away.
You're going to take Houston.
But
We are already splitting. I like it. Next up, we have the 11-5 Cleveland Browns, second on the 8-8 Cincinnati Bengals. The kitty will not go meow in the playoffs this year. The Bengals are eliminated from postseason contention. And really, it would take a lot to spoil Cleveland's chance. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Cleveland has clinched a playoff spot. So regardless of a lot of these, I'm just going to kind of bum rush because a lot of this doesn't have a lot of merit in the season because, like I said, Cleveland's clinched a playoff spot. Win or lose, they're not going to lose their spot, if you will. But it just comes down to who's the better team here, and I think Cleveland, with their defense, is a better team. Joe Burrow playing in this game. If Joe Burrow was playing in this game, it would be a different ball game. So that being said, I'm going to take Cleveland on the road.
yeah, that's a game changer. Like you said, if Joe Burrow was playing, then that'd be something different. But the fact that he's not makes it totally different. So I'm going to go with Browns on this one.
The Brownies.
I like brownies.
The Brownies. Next up, we have the 7-9 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 11-5 Detroit Lions. Lions sitting pretty. They won the NFC North. They are definitely in. As I said, right now they are in the number 3 seed. They can clinch the number 2 seed with a win here, coupled with a loss by Dallas and Philadelphia. But Vikings are out. They were eliminated when Green Bay beat them this past week, which, I mean, Green Bay we'll talk about here in a bit. But I like the Lions. I think the Lions can make some noise in the postseason. And like I said, this just comes down to who's the better team. And for me, that's the Lions. So I'm going to take the Lions at home. Why chance a random injury if there is no stakes? And that's a lot of it. Like, we talked with the Ravens. They have the number 1 seed in the AFC. A lot of their starters are going to rest in that game because why have, like, for example, Lamar Jackson, your potential MVP winner this year, why chance him in a game that means nothing when you can actually have him rest and be well rested for the playoffs? And I think a lot of these teams that have clinched and that they could rest starters for the postseason. But like I said, I'm gonna take the Lions at home just because I think Lions are better than Minnesota. So
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's really the team, but I think it's more of the fan base now that's still kind of on the Earl, excuse you. It's nothing over for you. You're still on my shit list. I think they're still sour over that loss with Dallas, and kind of touch with that. I've watched a lot of different scenarios of what transpired with that. So, I mean, regardless of what happened, if they think that it was a bad call by the refs, if not a bad call by the refs, whatever, a win's a win, a loss is a loss. You know what? Just pick it up and move on, move right along because regardless, it's going to be another game that they got to win. So I'm going to go with Detroit this one.
Detroit. All right. Next up, we have the 9-7 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 5-11 Tennessee Titans. Simply put, a win for Jacksonville. They will win the AFC South and they will clinch the number 4 seed. A loss, however, for Jacksonville potentially could be the end. It could eliminate them. So this is a huge, huge game for Jacksonville. Actually, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, and Houston all tied for the same record. All 3 of these teams have a big game. 2 of them against each other. But the Titans are eliminated. They've got nothing going, but they could definitely play spoiler, and I think they would relish that. But at the end of the day, I think Jacksonville knows the importance of this game. They can't leave anything to chance in this game. I'm going to take Jacksonville on the road to win the division this year. This week, almost this year. This week. But
Got you. I think Jacksonville again. They like we said with Baltimore, they really have nothing to play for. Granted, the only thing they would be playing for would be the number 1 seed for the NFC South. So as much as I want to go a spoiler and go with Tennessee, I think Jacksonville has more to play for and more at stake. So let's go with
Right. All right. Next up, we have the 6-10 New York Jets taking on the 4-12 New England Patriots. Oh, both of these teams are an absolute mess. And when you've got two shitty teams, you just which one is the less shit? The Patriots have owned the Jets for the better part of 3 years. I thought maybe the Jets would snap that earlier this year, but they didn't. And with it being in Foxborough, you know, eh, Jets way too many inconsistencies. I'm going to take the Patriots to win at home, and what could be very easily be Bill Belichick's swan song in New England. So if he's going to go out, at least send him out with a win.
So, I really can't guess or can't pick which team because both teams suck this year. Sorry to say.
I
So,
love the coin flip.
coin flip, you're right. So, heads, we're going to go for the Jets. Tails.
I love it.
Yes, it is.
Which is it?
The Jets.
The Jets. All right. When in doubt, flip a coin.
You got to keep it
Yeah,
interesting sometimes.
I know, right? Next up, we have the 7-9 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 8-8 New Orleans Saints. Um,
New Orleans.
yeah, I'm gonna take. Yeah, I said a few weeks ago I'm not picking Atlanta anymore. Every time I pick them, they lose. When I go against them, they win. But yeah, I stand by my decision. I'm not picking Atlanta. I'm taking the Saints based on my assurance, if you will. I said I wasn't picking the Falcons because they made me look foolish yet again a few weeks ago. I'm taking the Saints, by God, and I'm sticking with it.
Saints it is.
All right. Drop my phone. There we go. Next up, we have the 8-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the 2-14 Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers with a win here will win the NFC South, and they will get their. They will be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Carolina can play spoiler here, yeah, very easily, especially if the Saints. If the Saints win and the Bucks lose, the Saints will win the division. But I mean, the Panthers, they're garbage. Could they play spoiler? Of course they could. But I'm going to go with a hot hand here, and I'm going to take the Buccaneers on the road. Big Baby J, how's it going?
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay has a lot at stake with this, so I'm going to go with Tampa Bay just because I don't think Carolina is going to come up with the win.
Carolina
But
and the
Brandon, I
horses.
said that we both said that last week with the Cardinals and the Eagles, and
Yeah,
we'll
we
get
won't talk.
into that. We'll get into that when that comes on. So
Yeah, the Eagles are kind of a mess. But next up, we have the 7-9 Chicago Bears taking on the 8-8 Green Bay Packers in a huge game for Green Bay. The Packers got a very impressive win over Minnesota last week. Um, Despite the fact they were missing a lot of players on both sides of the ball. One thing about Green Bay is their future is as bright as can be with Jordan Love. I was um, very apprehensive about Jordan Love. Anytime you start a brand new quarterback, you never know what you're going to get. He started the year pretty good, then kind of hit a downward spiral, and now he's kind of on the other side of it. I mean, he looks good, and I mean, if he can take the Packers, to a playoff berth in his first year, I mean, that's saying something. I'm really hoping our defensive coordinator Joe Barry gets fired at the end of the year. But the Packers, simply put, a win. They're in. Um, they will lock up the 7th seed. A win coupled with a Rams loss will give them the 6th seed. So it is likely that we will be playing, if we get to the playoffs, playing Dallas or Detroit in the first round, depending on how the seeding matches up. I cannot take Chicago over Green Bay. I just, as a Packers fan, I've picked against Green Bay a lot this year. I cannot pick them. I cannot pick against Green Bay against Chicago. Or I cannot pick against Green Bay when it comes to Chicago. So for that, I'm taking Green Bay.
yeah, Chicago. I would at the beginning of the year, and if they were doing good, I think I would have picked Chicago. However, they're very wishy washy now. This thing is very inconsistent now, and Green Bay has a lot at stake. Again, they need the win, so I'm going to go from Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, Green Bay
Now,
essentially they control their own destiny. I mean, they've been in this position before a couple weeks ago, but now it's crunch time.
okay, so real quick, I'm going to revert back. We were talking about Carolina. Did you read, or did you? I guess I don't know if it was on the news or whatnot, that the not the GM, but the owner of the Carolina Panthers was fined $300,000 for throwing water on a fan.
Yes, you know, everybody that watches sports, whether they cheer, whether they boo, if you're a fan that goes into a stadium, now there's guidelines and whatnot, but if you're a authority figure on a team and you don't like the fact that a fan is razzing you because you lost or whatnot, that's understandable. But to take a drink and to throw it at the fan,
No.
that's a little uncalled for. And I think the fine is absolutely justified. Pretty steep fine for throwing a drink at a fan, but I mean there's just no place for that.
We were talking about it at work, and we said, that would be really funny if they come back and take that $300,000 and give it to the person he threw the water at.
Oh
That
yeah,
would be something,
shoot, I'd be like, hey, hell, throw it at me. I'll take that.
right?
Shoot,
Because
Rich.
technically, if he really wanted to, he could file assault charges against the owner.
Yeah, he could. I
It,
mean, people don't realize you could spit on somebody,
and
and
it's
that's still
considered
considered
assault.
assault. Like, you can throw an empty can at somebody, they can press charges on you for assault. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. It's some of it's crazy, but it's legit. uh, all right. Next up, we have the 8-8 Denver Broncos taking on the 7-9 Las Vegas Raiders. Um, I have Las Vegas written down. I don't even know why I'm picking Las Vegas. I know the Russell Wilson experiment is probably going to end in Denver. They benched him for the rest of the year. They're probably going to be moving on from Russell Wilson in the offseason. Um, yeah, I legit don't have a logical reason why I'm taking Las Vegas over Denver. But again, I stick by what I write down because I usually make these out when I'm at work, which I did this morning. So, but yeah, apparently I'm taking the Raiders over the Broncos. Neither team is playoff bound, so you know it really don't matter.
I'm going to go with the Broncos just for the hell of it.
No coin flip needed.
No, not
All
this.
right. Next up, we have the 11-5 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 5-11 New York Giants. Boy, oh boy! About 6 weeks ago, everybody was talking about Philadelphia Eagles, best team in the NFL. Boy, you don't mess with the Eagles. Man, we're just the best team in the NFL. You betcha, buddy. No, they're not. They got beat by the Cardinals last week.
Yeah, a
And
team that
frankly,
hasn't been able to do nothing all year.
you're right.
Except for
Um,
Dallas, and that was yeah.
yeah, that was like week 2, week 3. But I look for the Eagles to win this game. I mean, the Eagles are going to go to the playoffs, but I don't see them advancing very far. Like I said, the Eagles, the last 6 weeks or so, the Eagles have just been bad. But the Giants, there's not really a whole lot with them. Move on to next year. Hopefully, they can retain Saquon Barkley in the offseason. But um, Giants are out. Uh, I look for Philly to win this game. And yeah, they'll be playoff bound, but they won't be. I don't see Philly going far, but I like them on the road this week.
Going backwards to, like we said with Baltimore, really Philly has, in a sense, nothing to play for other than the fact of to move from the fifth seed up back up to second. That's the only reason that they would really want to play. If they were smart, granted, yes, they would want to get that second seed, but if they were really smart, they would rest their first lineman. I don't see that happening. I don't see a repeat of last week with Arizona. Give me the Eagles. As much as it mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Next up, we have the 8-8 Seattle Seahawks taking on the 4-12 Arizona Cardinals. And what am I? Oh, game notification. Um, so the Seahawks can actually sneak into the playoffs with a win coupled with a Green Bay loss. The Seahawks would take the 7th seed. I think the Seahawks are going to do their part and win. I mean, Arizona won more games this year than I think anybody gave them credit for. I think a lot of people, projected them to win like 2 or 3 games. They've won 4, which, kudos to them. But, excuse me, at the end of the day, I think Seattle's the better team. Therefore, I am going to go with Seattle on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle as well, just because I don't see I don't see the Cardinals doing much this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they've won more than people gave them credit for. But hey, so next up we have the 10-6 Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 5-11 LA Chargers. Boy, oh boy, the Chargers are a mess. The Chiefs are kind of a mess. They barely got by Cincinnati last week, but they got the win. Um, Chiefs are in. They won the AFC West again last week with that win over Cincinnati, so they are guaranteed a spot. Um, and frankly, the Chargers, they're banged up. They don't look great. Give me Kansas City again. They're going to take a lot of road teams, but I'm taking Kansas City on the road this week.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of doing
Oh,
trying
you're
to
good.
make sure my dinosaurs don't die on me.
Nope, you're good.
Uh Please, why are you not? Okay, hold on. We'll just do it this way. Okay. Whew. Safe from the bell. Okay, who were our teams again? Kansas City and who else?
Kansas City and the Chargers. LA Chargers. I gotta open the door because I hear cats meowing outside.
Yeah, I'm watching mine, making sure he doesn't give me a surprise seizure like he did last night, apparently.
Roll one, Bubba.
But anyhow, I think I'm gonna go with
Yep.
the the Kansas City Chiefs, just because I don't see uh the Chargers doing
One,
anything.
Bubba. One, Bubba. One, Bubba. Betty's almost done, and I will feed you. Okay. So, all right. Next up, we have the 9-7 LA Rams taking on the 12-4 San Francisco 49ers. Talked earlier, the Niners have the number 1 seed in the NFC clinched up. I could potentially see them resting a lot of their starters. The Rams have a lot to go with here. They've clinched a playoff spot. It's a matter of whether they're going to get the 6th seed or the 7th seed. If they win, they clinch the 6th seed. If they lose and Green Bay wins, they will fall to 7, and Green Bay will take the 6th. Based on the Rams and Packers. Packers beat the Rams head to head earlier this year. My thing is, I just don't know if San Francisco is going to rest their starters or not. I've got San Francisco written down, but it would not surprise me if they rested their starters and the Rams pick up the win. But like I said, I've got
I don't really see it.
what?
I mean, if they were smart, they would, but I don't see it. I think that they're gonna play him off.
Yeah, I haven't heard that they're going to rest anybody, but plus I'm hoping for the Niners to win because, like I said, if the Rams lose and Green Bay wins, we get a higher seed. So what? I'm almost done. I promise. I only have like 2 more games. So, all right. Next up, what? What? Next up, we have. There we go. Sorry, I had a message there. So next up, we have the 11-5 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 4-12 Washington Commanders. Touched on this earlier. A win for Dallas will they will win the NFC East, and they will get the number 2 seed um, in the playoffs. So the Commanders could easily play spoiler here. I don't see it happening because I just think that Dallas has a lot riding on this game. And again, they're not going to want to leave anything to chance on this game. You got a chance to win the division. Put all your cards on the table. The Commanders aren't doing anything. They're mathematically eliminated. So that being said, give me Dallas on the road.
Yeah, they beat them once. I see them beating them again. No, I don't think it's going to be a blowout like it was last time, but I could be completely wrong. Um, yeah, I hear you, little boy. Um, but again, like you said, I don't think Dallas is going to rest up anybody. I think they're going to go full steam to win the division for the second seed. So give me Dallas.
Ah, don't mind me. Like I said, this thing costs like $1,000,000. But where is my pen? Oakley, what'd you do with my pen?
He ate it.
What'd you do with my pen, sir? It was literally in my lap, and then you. Right. Oh, it's still in my lap. He just knocked it over. So, all right. Last but not least, we have a battle for the AFC East. We have the 10-6 Buffalo Bills taking on the 11-5 Miami Dolphins. Miami and Buffalo are 2 and 6 seeds, respectively. Um, if Buffalo wins, Buffalo wins, they will jump to number 2. Miami would fall to 5. Or if Miami wins, it stays as it is. Simply put, it's a battle for the division. And looking at these two teams, Buffalo has been on a nice run as of late, but I think there's a little bit more inconsistencies in Buffalo than there is in Miami. That being said, I think Miami's the better team. I look for Buffalo to keep it close, but I'm going to take Miami at home to win the AFC East. Give me Miami at home.
Yeah. I mean, Miami has really nothing to lose, but Miami does have better team. It has a better team than Buffalo, so I'm going to take Miami on this one.
All right. So there you guys have it. The final week. Next week's video, when we start the playoffs, is going to be considerably shorter because there's only going to be like 6 games as opposed to 16. But that being said, recapping, we have the Steelers over the Ravens. I have the Colts over the Texans. Holly has the Texans over the Colts. We have the Browns over the Bengals, Lions over the Vikings, Jaguars over the Titans. Um, Coin flip for Holly. She has the Jets over the Patriots. I have the Patriots over the Jets. Over the Falcons, Buccaneers over the Panthers, Packers over the Bears. I have the Raiders over the Broncos. Holly has the Broncos over the Raiders. We have the Eagles over the Giants. We have the Seahawks over the Chiefs. Or, excuse me, we have the Seahawks over the Cardinals, Chiefs over the Chargers, 49ers over the Rams, Cowboys over the Commanders, and then the Dolphins over the Bills. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap this video up. I'm going to rest my voice. Like I said, those that going to follow me extensively know I have kind of been under the weather since after Christmas. Trying to shake it. Like I said, I'm pretty well over it. Minus just I've got a nagging cough that just will not go away. But every now and then my voice tends to come and go. Um, as always, I do want to thank my very good friend Holly's Adventures. We have had a blast, and like I said, if those that don't know, Holly and I are already planning next season. Holly joined me in week 3. We're going to be doing the entire season together next year. But this is not the last week of picks. By far, next week, as I said, we start the playoffs next week. So next week, Holly and I will be breaking down the wild card round of the playoffs. San Francisco and Baltimore will not be playing next week. They will have a bye into the divisional round. So we will be back next week. Good auto cat feeder the other day. Heck yeah. Those are nice. Yeah.
I would have to get 7.
So
But even still, even if I did get them, the problem will be my cat would still want to wake us up at 3:30 in the morning to feed them.
we're gonna do a match madness thing. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not
Match
sure what that.
March Madness? I mean, that's big basketball
Basketball.
tournament. Oh,
Yeah.
March Madness. I mean, I don't know a lot about college basketball. I'm not opposed to it.
Oh,
Oh,
NBA? Yeah. No, I won't because I don't know much. I don't know anything really about basketball. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm a Mavericks fan. I follow it just like standings wise, but other than that, I don't want to say my knowledge is not like it is for football. But I mean, anything could change. Um, but yeah, so we'll have to see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it per se. Like I said, I would just have to do some research before I actually committed to it, just because I don't
I
like I
mean,
don't
you
want
could
to
do
make
what I do and just guess.
it. That's what my wife does with football picks. Like she'll just every now and then like trying to teach her football is like yeah.
Well, the problem is with the NFL, they have all these crazy ass rules, and they make shit up as they go.
Sounds about right. So, but other than that, guys, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Definitely want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to both of our channels and the rest of the FTCC.
I will be
And
on later because I plan on doing a live Final Fantasy 1. So hopefully I
ooh,
get to see y'all there.
heck yeah, I
I
will
gotta go.
try to. I'm gonna try later on tonight. Like I said, I'm gonna let my voice rest for a little while, and then I want to get another part of Final Fantasy V. We're gonna be going through Extus Castle.
Okay.
Uh, so we'll see how that pans out. Looks like I'm getting close to the end of Final Fantasy V. Um, and also, I've had a couple people inquire about Dark Souls, which I know the last Dark Souls game I actually went through was one. But I've got a couple people that have been struggling with Dark Souls 3, which I'm like, I mean, I did a live reaction when I platinumed Dark Souls 3. So I don't know. I might even in the midst of my Final Fantasy playing, I might even throw a walkthrough up of Dark Souls 3. That way, anybody that struggles with that, they can. Are you planning on streaming now? Well, Big Baby, I mean, we'll pop in as soon as we're done here.
I still gotta go get my cat's seizure medicine, so it's gonna be in it before I get to do anything.
Milo says you're in World 2, so not too much left. Okay, sweet. I like it. So, but anyway, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Make sure, as I said, subscribe to both of our channels as well as the rest of the FTCC. Give this video a thumbs up if you would, pretty please. It does help our channels grow. And yeah, we will catch you guys in our next respective videos. So take care, and we'll catch you guys in our next videos.